name's Asif Sadiq. I'm the Global Head of Diversity and Inclusion for Adidas. It's great to be, sharing my experiences around what belonging really means and how we can actually really introduce belonging as a concept during these times when it's really, really crucial to everything that we do. I think the first thing which is quite important is probably to explain what I mean by belonging. So, a lot of organizations focus on the whole sort of concept of diversity and inclusion, which I think is great. Diversity is the numbers, it's the differences, but diversity by itself doesn't mean anything. It's just differences. What really matters is then how do we make those differences feel included in what we do? And that's the inclusion journey, which a lot of organizations and companies have been on. And inclusion's great. It's really, bringing that together and allowing people's differences to flourish in a working environment. But then we come on to the belonging piece. And that's where not only are you included, but you're allowed to be your authentic self. You can bring your true self to work. And why is that crucial? Because actually the whole purpose of diversity and inclusion wasn't there for it to be like a tick box exercise or just to capture. It was to get the true benefit from the diversity. If we do get belonging, or if we achieve belonging, there's numerous studies out there that have shown that, people are 3.5 times more productive, there's more innovation, there's better ideas, and above all else, you retain your staff and they progress further. So that's the concept of belonging, and that's what I think every organization should be working towards, is going on that journey from diversity, inclusion, and then to belonging. Now, what does that mean in our current context? It's really interesting. One of the things that the coronavirus has actually shown us is the importance of diversity. All of a sudden, numerous organizations have had to move into working remotely. A concept that diversity was pushing for a long time, and now it's all upon us, and it's for every single person. So it's almost been there's been no choice, right? So everyone's had to embrace it, and people have embraced it in different ways. But one of the things that's really been key is, yes, we work remotely, but how do we still include everyone in what we do when we're having meetings, when we're engaging with people? And how do we still bring in the human element? So, some of the things that I've been focusing on, or some of the things that I talk a lot about within the space of remote working and working in the current circumstances, is still allowing for the human interactions that we would have otherwise. So you've got a meeting, we set up meetings, everyone's doing meetings remotely. Let's spend 5 minutes at the beginning just checking in on everyone, making sure everyone's fine, making sure everyone's okay. Or it could be at the end of the meeting, or actually, why not have a lunch hour where everyone can just log on without a meeting agenda and just catch up? Because these are the conversations, and these are those real sort of inclusion moments that we have in the workplace. The sort of conversations around the water machine or the coffee machine and so on. So let's create those moments, because it's still important to engage beyond work. And I think the second really big thing is about understanding that everyone's going through this process in a different way, right? So some people have caring responsibilities, either for kids or someone older, or or they've got other family members that they must look after. So how do we ensure that when we are, arranging meetings, setting up things, that we're taking that into consideration? People still have to, for example, get their kids dressed in the morning, or feed them. So yes, we're working remotely, but it doesn't mean people's diaries are just completely open. So it's just about the small things that we can be considerate about. And I think the second or third thing now is also the concept of, let's not worry about stuff, right? So I'll give you a personal example. I've got 2 young kids, and as I've been doing meetings, one of the things which has been on the back of my mind has been, oh God, don't want them to make noise, don't want them to come into the room, into my study. And luckily I don't have that fear, because the environment we've created it's fine, right? You can have a meeting, and if your kid walks in, that's fine, it's okay. And that really helps you to concentrate, it helps you to not worry about something that shouldn't be a huge worry. And I think, again, the other part as well is about understanding that it's not only about caring responsibilities. Some people live in shared accommodation, right? They could be living with 4 or 5 others. Just to be mindful of that as well. So these are the small things. And also, actually, when we're using different platforms, whether it be Microsoft Teams or Zoom, or whichever platform it is, just to be mindful of the fact that allow people to maybe change their background if they want to. just encourage it, because again, some of us are fortunate enough to have studies or, working spaces within our houses. Others might not. And, you don't want someone panicking about, how their background's going to look within a meeting. So, just those kind of things are so important. One of the things I really, which was really, really nice, which I saw the other day amongst our team. So we change our backgrounds based on a question that we ask each other every day, right? So it could be, what's your favorite TV show? Or what's your, favorite movie? And then we change our backgrounds with that. And it's a great conversation starter. It's a great inclusion. It makes people feel, oh, wow, I can talk about why I like this and that. So it's those small things, it's not the big things that matter right now. It's the small things that make a huge difference. And I think that journey will continue, as we move forward. Diversity and inclusion, one of the things that this situation has really presented for us is that it's a hugely important topic. People care, it matters to people. And actually companies that are embracing it now will be the ones that people will really believe in. During good times, it's very easy for us to all run, big programs, fancy things, but it's when things are tough that people really rely on, that leadership, that creating a sense of belonging for your people. So I think it's hugely important. Going forward, it'll be even more important in the new working environment, whatever that will look like. And for us to really support our staff through that transition. Some people will not be able to come back to work based on the fact that, there might be a vulnerable group. How do we still ensure that they feel included once we do go back to work? How do we not forget about those that will still work remotely? So yeah, huge challenges, but great opportunities for us to really make a difference and support staff during this time to create a sense of belonging.